Hey girls, are you with me? We're
Yeah.
here for another TA report with your homegirls, GP, JFDI, and Bags. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm horny. I'm all bulled up. I mean, look at this. I've got Clack up on the screen because I know that gets Nick in the mood. Some Clack and some AVGO, some
Oh yeah,
Broadcom. That gets the old blood pressure up a little bit, doesn't it, Nick?
it does.
Sexy, sexy, sexy stuff. Um, I don't know if GP's is feeling as good about it as I am, but holy moly, what a 4 weeks we've had. Short week this week because it's a holiday, right? We've got Thanksgiving coming up on Thursday. But the market doesn't give a flying hoot nanny right now. I was kind of expecting it to be kind of like a ho hum day. And
I
what did
was
we
too.
get? Oh, 1.2 and a half, 2.25 per, sorry, 1.25% on the Qs, 3/4% on the SPY. Hey, look at your girl IWM here, Nick.
I know.
You kind of didn't like it last week, but I don't know. It might be a good catch up trade. GP, how you feeling?
Can someone say lockout? Can someone say
I
loud?
was
Say
waiting
it
for that.
loud. Say it loud. Because what's going on right now, and we'll have pullbacks, is essentially we got stage one breakouts that basically retraced a lot of it over the last 3 or 4 months. And instead of people using that as an opportunity to get long the stocks that they got in the first round, they were looking to short it. Now things are continuing to move higher, and people are getting like, when do I get my chance to get in? And like,
Let me tell you how bad it is. You know I love my little mean reversion trades, and we're up bigly this morning. And I'm just like, I'll throw a little puts on the Qs. Slap! I got out with a 6% loss, but soon after that, um, this happened, and it was just like the perfect timing. I got out right here. I was like, this is not going anywhere, and then boom, it's like, holy hell, I just missed the freight train. Like, their mean reversion trades aren't working. This is just a steamroller or a freight train or a freaking stealth bomber flying higher. No, yes.
that's what
GP,
lockouts are, right?
yeah,
That's
that's what
exactly what lockouts are. They're shallow pullbacks. Everyone wants to get in. They're not getting the right opportunity to get back in, and it just kind of grinds higher, right? And so the crazy part about all this, I've posted a few times, is to the 30-year bond actually haven't even broken out, right? They're just on the verge of breaking out, which will generally be more bullish for equities. So um, we could just be starting, and it could just be shallow pullbacks along the way. Um,
that's what I was alluding to, and I tweeted at you, like using like for people. I mean, I still think there's plenty of setups out there, but for stuff that you were super interested in, and if you missed it, like basically either picking one, and either using like the 10 or the 20 day, or any, because I would view like a 10-day test as a, especially on the EMA, as a very shallow dip. 20
yeah.
day, we're going to get a little bit more of like a multi-day, kind of
Over
cyclic
extents,
move into it. But
they're going to be pretty solid pullbacks if it's the,
right,
which may happen, but it'll be a quick and dirty.
for sure.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's just all I was alluding to, is like in if indeed this isn't going to continue to be a lockout, it's going to be a very difficult one to trade if you weren't on top of the breakouts. So you're going to have to use shorter term and shallower pivots to trade against,
Yeah.
especially if it's stuff that you wanted to participate in.
The question is, if you wanted to participate, why didn't you get in when it got steamrolled for 50, 60% in 3 months, right?
Yeah,
Like,
very true.
uh,
Very
and
true.
now you're like, oh, well, it's got to pull back because I want to get in. And you're like, Dude, you've had 3 to 4 months while we
Months.
consolidated in a very kind of tight range in the indices, even though a lot of things were getting absolutely obliterated, right? And so there's still a ton of room to run non-indices. So
Yes.
you're starting to see that as well, right? You're starting to see the things that weren't participating, that were getting smoked day after day, are now turning, right? Like I think Palantir is one of them. Unity Software is another one of them. Intel, dude, Intel just hit 45 today, right? It couldn't
Oh,
it
shit, I
couldn't
didn't see
even
that
break
one.
out of the 33 zone for months. Shop's back to 70. Dash is breaking out. MDB is breaking out, right? Like these are all just starting to are just pushing, right? Dash hasn't even broken out. Is that a chart that looks like it's breaking out to you? That's a chart that's just getting ready to break out.
But I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about Microsoft and Apple last week, but you look at Google, right? Like that's a move that's just starting, really. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got Amazon, right? Amazon last, struggled at this 40 level, 45
Yep.
level, and now we're at 46. So this move is just starting, right? Like, yeah, it's been a strong 5 weeks, and I'm not saying it goes straight to 170 from here, but it looks to me, even mega cap, as hard as and strong as they've run. NVIDIA, right? Like, oh, no big deal, just weekly all-time high last week.
Head and shoulders.
Head and shoulders, right? So it's not just the things that haven't run, it's also the things that have run. And now they've got more to run.
And yeah, even look, Meta is actually one of the better examples of the mega caps, right? It was a cheap stock that literally tripled in the last year.
And what's it
And
doing?
it got to that gap down
consolidation.
level. It got to that gap down level of 323, and it's FAFO'd around for the last 3-4 months, right? And now
All it
it's
did
just
was break out of consolidation. That's all it did.
yeah.
Right there.
And so like you have those, and let's not even talk about the big behemoth that hasn't participated at all,
No doubt.
which is Tesla. Right? Tesla, my biggest concern is the
Elon.
pattern that I pointed out, I think months ago, now everyone's talking about, so I get concerned about it. It's like the same similar pattern from the early January to March kind of consolidation. And now like I've seen every chart out there talking about this look, so this is most likely to fail because everyone is talking about it. But this is one that hasn't, dude, it's still 50% off all-time highs. This is part of the S&P. So even if you get Microsoft and Apple to kind of go sideways, this is a big part of the S&P that can also make up the slack for those. It's rotation, right? It's a rotation game.
Rotation station.
Right? So like the weighting of Google, the weighting of Amazon, the weighting of Tesla will help balance off any weakness in Microsoft or Apple. Microsoft more than anything because it's the only one that's just beasting all day, every day. Can you imagine the people who went short Microsoft on Friday thinking this is the end of them?
Their buttholes are hurting.
Yes. What was that? What was I reading? Double top failure.
Oh my God.
Dude, the double top failures and the Head and Shoulders crowd, just.
Well, our guy T Stonk was following. He was posted a chart on AMD a couple weeks ago, and you know how much I like AMD and how I think AMD's looked good. But anyway, he posted a chart on AMD a couple weeks ago, and some Elliott waiver said bearish price target 25.
Oh my God!
And now today the same guy's like price target 300. It's like, get out of here, you fucking crazy ass.
Dude, the piss poor like abilities of people's technical, like I usually try not to judge because technical is subjective, but some of the stuff that people throw out there just what's that?
So I said fucking judge.
Where do they develop? Where do they develop these biases? Like, how does it? because it's like it's a bearish mentality.
No, it's candles without context, right? And
Sure.
and I think that's what a lot of people miss in their technical analysis, right? It's it's oh, it's a shooting star. No, you don't get shooting stars in the middle of a breakout pattern, right? Like you'll get stars in a sorry, not in a breakout, like it's not even breaking out. It's not anywhere close to all-time highs or even high 52-week highs. That's not a shooting star. It's just selling, right? Like it's just the selling. Like it's not this bearish. It might be a short-term bearish signal, but it's not a long-term bearish signal, right? And the people calling inverted hammers, it's just like they have two green candles and they see inverted hammers, like, oh, that's a bearish signal. And you're like, dude, where's your context around your candles, right? Because you can't take them independently. You have to take them together, right? And I think that's where people don't seem to be able to do the meshing of the context, right? Like I think a lot of people were bearish in October, right? And what did we were talking about it here. We held the 9 monthly moving average, which was rising. It should
I
tell
think
you to get
that's kind of the thing I think that people are missing in their TA is that trend, I think, trumps all. And the individual candles, like at a certain point, not every day, for one, not every day matters. And especially if we're like in a trending environment, if like we're trending up, I feel like people are grasping at like straws is kind of what I feel like. Like they're looking for a reason to say this is it.
yeah. Pull up
Like
pull up the daily Apple chart. We can go through this actually,
Oh,
right?
I would love to.
I don't know how anybody can hold a swing position by analyzing and over analyzing every single daily candle.
Well, you can. It just doesn't mean much, right?
Yeah.
It's good to have the context, understand what candles are and what to see what happens. But if it doesn't follow through on those candles, then it's not the candle you were expecting, right? So go to the daily on Apple.
The daily on Apple.
So
look at all those gaps.
How many bearish candles do you see in that uptrend? Do you know what I mean, right? Like, so you have an inverted hammer, you have a spinning top, you have a red doji at a pivot point. What else you got here? You have a bearish harami. We can go through 7 or 8 different bearish candles. And what is the follow through on each one of those candles?
Higher.
So your context is what's missing when you're analyzing these. Sorry, not a rant, but I want people to be better, and that's why I talk about these things, because I've gone through a lot of this when I first started, which is I'm like, but it's a bearish harami or it's a spinning top, and you're like, well, why didn't it work? Well, your context is missing, right? And that's what I was missing initially, because you're learning, right? And so that, I guess that's why I talk about it quite often on these podcasts, because I want people to get better. I want people to see what's the underlying themes. Rant over.
I'm with you. I would just find it impossible. I think daily and weekly weekly and monthly candles, I think trump the daily, and I think that it's just like if I'm in a position and like price is trending, working in my favor, I guess I've kind of grown to take the mentality that like I don't even give a shit what the candles look like at a certain point on the daily, because if I did, I feel like I would be getting chopped in and out of positions like all day, every day. Like I don't know if anybody has like a long, even like a swing to position trading style where like even you're looking to hold positions for 6, 12, 18 months. If you're getting out on every little day, like you said, every little daily doji candle, like what in the F are you doing, and how are you staying in a position?
You're not.
Yeah. So I'm kind of with you in terms of like context, and you know, maybe layering that with like volume per se, or I don't know, some other indicator that you might find useful, but just taking them as they are, I think, especially on the daily time frame, I think is, you know, unless you're a day
Yeah.
trader and you're looking, you know, and you're using like every daily candle as like a way to, you know, like as a candle to trade against, sure, I get that, but
Well, we've said it 100 times. If we've said it once, it's time frame, right? Like I understand how people can be bearish on the way certain candles look, but what's the time frame on that, right? If it's really short, like you're saying, Nick, day trading, that's one thing, but something that sets you up to say AMD to 25, like you're just out to lunch.
yeah.
You are nowhere grounded in reality.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. You know, teach their
And
own.
I will say it till the cows come home. Netflix is your biggest freaking indicator on the market.
And look
It
at this
was
bitch.
it was the first one to turn down. It is the first one to launch out, and yet everyone's like, no, Netflix's time has come. It's no longer the leader. You can shut the F
I mean,
up,
not
right?
only did it give you the pivot breakdown okey doke, right? Like, oh, we're gonna go, no, we're not, right? Like now it's breaking out of the range that it was in since June.
Yeah. And it's grinding, right? So it's frustrating for a lot of people. But this grind is what we were talking about before we got on the call is if you're looking at options flow, the options flow is not actually call buying. It's put selling in so many different names, indices across the board, which is why you're seeing this kind of slow motion grind up, which is even more painful for everyone involved.
For
Um,
people listening that don't understand the importance of that, can you elaborate on that? Like
so like
the difference between the, you know, the difference between the two?
yeah, so basically they're kind of putting a floor in, right? So you're kind of slowly buying back. You're not getting the gamma squeeze you need, right? To the upside. You're just putting in a floor. So it's pushing higher as the is happening on the puts, right? Because they're selling them.
Sure.
So which gets dangerous because if it goes the other way, like if the market starts to run, these guys get caught flat-footed, have to start shorting the stock, which or the indices, and then they'll start getting slammed. So it's a double-edged sword, but that's also grinding. We're not. If you remember the 2020 and 2021 breakouts, those were powerful. That's the free. We talked about this last year. We're not going to get the same type of breakouts because it's not a free money society anymore, right? This is your cash works for you better than it has in 2 decades. You're not going to get the same YOLO type mentality. So people are like, well, it can continue to grind higher, so I'm just going to sell puts against it versus YOLOing 300 calls on Netflix to see if it goes higher, right? Or if it has those
Sure.
typical 8 to 10% moves when it does break out. So that's what you're starting to see is like people are selling puts versus buying calls. If that makes a bit sense. It's obviously a lot more nuanced than that, but it's just kind of the general.
It is way more nuanced than that. It's just not YOLOing, it's full portfolio YOLOing. I call it full port YOLO.
Yeah, and SoftBank did it in August
Yeah.
in August 2020, right? They literally were buying billions of dollars in calls, forcing the forcing excuse me, forcing the price up, right? And so you saw this relentless move higher, and it was beastly, right? Off August 2020. Anyway, so that there's a lot of stuff that's going on here, but it's just I've noticed the different behavior, which is people are actually selling puts, be like, okay, well, the market's going higher. I just don't think Netflix is worth $800, $900, so I'm not going to YOLO that. I'm just going to sell some puts because it probably has some floor, right? And that
I mean,
floor is
I was
say
thinking more of the Alameda Research full port YOLOing, but yeah, SoftBank's a good one to point at too.
yeah.
All
Sorry,
right,
I'm
this has been
listening.
a hell of a
I'm
20
trying
minutes
to.
of pod. I think we're done. We've got everything out.
Yeah, I think
We I think we put the Festivus tree up, and we did our days of Festivus here, and now it's just it's time
Let's
to
talk about NVIDIA tomorrow.
yes.
What are you feeling?
the accumulation is now starting to break higher.
I'm saying, do you like? I could totally, I could see that EPS reaction going both ways. What I would love to see. I'm not saying I'm betting on this happening, but like I would love to see like a 450 to 475 open post EPS, just to get all the bears chirping again. Every EPS sell off has been bought up. Like look at Palo Alto.
Yeah. I don't think it actually has a big move. I think it just grinds, right? That's what I think it goes. If you look at just the news this weekend, what's the key takeaway you got from the news this weekend about all the open AI stuff that was going on?
Just a
Me?
madhouse.
No, it was holy shit. Microsoft is dedicating $50
Oh
billion
yeah,
to this AI. Like, so that tells you if Microsoft is doing it, there's a lot of other smaller players that are also putting in some insane amount of capital to make this new kind of growth area potentially very lucrative, right? So NVIDIA has been, to me, accumulating, not head and shouldering, distributing out. It's been accumulating over the last 3 or 4 months on that. Everyone was shocked by that revenue guide back in May, right? So we've talked about it on the podcast. Institutions weren't unloading. Someone pointed out to me, who was it? George Soros sold his entire share of NVIDIA's. I was like, well, that's kind of a big deal. Maybe people are unloading. And then you look at his entire share count and can you guess how many shares he had?
no,
10,000.
really?
Yeah, that's it. Which is still a lot of money, but you're not. This trades millions of shares a day, and people are talking about his 10,000 a share position, and I'm like, man, they're grasping at straws.
That's all I've seen is just dumbass fear mongering shit all over the fucking Twitter, all over the news. Like it's just same old crap. It seems like to me.
Yeah,
I
and so like I think there's two ways this plays out. I think this continues pretty much grinding higher into January OPEX and have shallow pullbacks along the way, or we get nasty pullbacks 1 or 2 days max where everyone gets bared up and then we just rotate. I mean, we rotate higher, right?
I mean, I was surprised, not just on Nvidia, but for the Qs, I was a little bit surprised we had such an update today. I mean, I'm thinking like I'm thinking probably a low volume week, right? The week of Thanksgiving, short week. People are it is what it is, right? It's the holidays. So I was kind of thinking, it's going to be a ho hum week, but nope, not. Hasn't started off that way.
NVIDIA is reporting on Tuesday aftermarket, which means Wednesday is going to be wild, right? And then going
Friday.
into Friday, you're going to have your Black Friday kind of conversations. You have Cyber Monday, all that stuff that's coming out, and then the following week you have a monster event on Thursday, which is the Tesla Cybertruck, right? So,
when is that?
And we consolidated really nicely above the CPI gap up for 4 days. Now we're releasing a bit higher.
This little cyber flop.
Yeah, did you see Jeffrey's note today?
Yeah, I commented on your tweet, and I left Elon tagged in the tweet too, or
yeah,
in the I guess that's what it's called.
I never thought autonomous was going to be possible until they got the roads better, but I just saw your tweet. But the reality is, who analyst tells company to stop developing a product.
Yeah. No, I again, like I think they are a little bit out there. I think my umbrage with promising from them gets a little long in the tooth for me. So it's two different things, but yeah. Anyway.
Great. It's been 4 years talked about the Cybertruck. So absolutely, but everyone who's been around Tesla knows his usual comments are 2 weeks is 2 years, right? Like so. But he delivers even if it's a bit later, right? Ultimately, he delivers at whatever point that is. So I just found it kind of ludicrous to be like, hey, you shouldn't develop a new model segment. Like I can't imagine any analyst ever being like, Tim Cook, you should not develop Apple Watches, you should not develop an iPad, you should not do any of these things, or tell Netflix to stop creating content. Like it's just it's nuts, right? To see this stuff that unfold. And I never thought I'd be shocked again after this long in Tesla, and I was just like, wow, I'm pretty shocked today.
I'm still long the stock.
I am too.
How can you not
Begrudgingly still long the stock.
Hey, Fastly might be catching up to you, man. When's our deal up? When's our
Friday?
Oh man, I thought maybe I had a chance. I guess I don't. Not
Is
like
it Friday?
The 4th, right? So
next Friday, not this Friday.
I said next Friday.
Oh, sorry. I just heard you say Friday.
Dude, you literally took Fastly at the tippity top.
I know.
But then
yeah,
I got
it would be
because...
Monday the 4th. It would be the close of on Monday the 4th. Yeah, on our regular.
So you're saying
I got nothing. I took even Wayfair after like a 30 point correction, and it still went down another 20 points.
Oh, well,
yeah, I'm saying there's a chance, Nick. You got 2 full weeks, bud.
All right.
Well, this week's a short week, but
I think Wayfair's got a bigger chance, Nick, with Black Friday sales.
Yeah, true that.
And they're closing out their puts. That's the most important thing.
Well, our price targets were a bit off.
No, our time frame was off. That's
okay. Fair. Our time frame was off. Fair.
Did you? Are you long? Are you long?
There.
Are you long ARM?
I was. I IPOs. I don't do stocks. So I did options. I was long into last week. Closed out, and it was a short week this week, so I didn't want to take anything that I wasn't 100% confident in. IPO setups are always not the greatest, so I closed it out last week.
That's a big day for old.
Yeah, I put in a big bar today.
It did.
Your coin too. I was kind of watching.
Oh my gosh! How good? How good is that?
Coin is just.
How good is that?
I cannot wait to cash out my 2025 leaps. Oh.
When are you going to cash
one? I bought them when coin was 57. So.
I mean, I don't even think the move's even started yet.
I know.
I think like once it gets above like 125, or I'm sorry, 115. Like I think that's where I think that the real move really gets going. So
yeah, she.
I don't know why.
That's the whole thing. None of these things have broken out, right?
Yeah,
and they don't need the indices to break out. Coin's not part of any indice.
Bitcoin just hovering around, just chilling.
How's Ethereum doing?
Before crypto,
great.
Yes, but look at XK.
Which one?
XLK.
XLK. Yes,
that's all-time highs.
So sexy.
Yes. And then the catch-up sector is XLC, the comp sector, which is also just starting after 4 or 5 month consolidation.
Love it. Can you check WW?
Wait, watch this. What
Yes.
is up with this stuff?
I mean, there's just better stuff in the world than WW. Guessing you're asking that because you're holding it, but I mean the stochastic's turning up. It's bottomed, but doesn't look as great as some others. I mean, if you bought in the 4s, should have sold in the 10s, my brother.
Where's Randy?
I don't know. Randy didn't come set up the tables and chairs.
I know.
I've got this whole bunch of donuts and coffee here and nobody to share it with.
Because he knows a lot of stocks and sectors that I don't always know about, but my current thought process was medium cap stocks are going to be where it's at for a while, not small caps.
Well, look at this dog. Speaking of medium caps.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's going to unleash with the fury.
Yeah, Twilio looks good too.
Net. Look at that. I've been saying it and I've been saying it and I've been saying it. Freaking net.
Target looks good. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, right? Target's looking good.
Yeah. I mean, that was a really big move on Target.
Big move in the last 4 days post earnings has been above that breakdown area of 127.
Yeah, holding it. Yeah.
Holding it really well. So retailers are doing well. But when we talk about rotation, this is important to understand. While Target is doing this, look at what Walmart is doing.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Yes.
But look what Costco's doing. And
Costco's
look what Lowe's is doing. And look what Home Depot is doing.
Yeah.
Right. So I think having been a long time Walmart shareholder, this has been quite the run for the old Wally world. I mean, you look at basically all year long. That's some big stuff for all Wally, since there's a whole lot of sideways here. Anyway,
yeah, I think it was just
Walmart down a couple more dollars, and I'd say it's a good spot. It's a good pivot right there. I would say about 153 ish.
Yeah, I think I was only referring to we talk about rotation quite often, right? And this is a clear example of sell Walmart, buy Target.
Right. I want to be in retail. I'm going to buy an undervalued and sell an overvalued.
Yep.
It's not always a rotation from sector to sector. It can often be just like that. GP, you're absolutely right.
And then the sector that everyone has been crapping on for months is now looking fantastic. Solar.
You know, as soon as we talked about it, or you brought it up last week, the following day, like it had a nice move, especially for solar. It popped. I don't really like when it comes to descending wedges, I'm pretty picky about how I like them to set up, and so it's not like the wedge that I would necessarily trade. But either way, First Solar busted out of that last week.
But Nick zoom much further out.
Yeah,
it's a breakout of the 12-year base retest.
Yeah.
It's literally the base that it broke out from, rounded top, came back and retested it, and boom, we're moving higher, right? This is a healthy consolidation after a monster run in 2022 when everything got smoked. Right, we talked about that. We talked about First Solar when it happened, that big volume bar that happens like that looked like capitulation to the upside, right? And
We
so
did
you what's that?
I said we did do that.
Yeah. And so now we've come back fully and retested the original breakout at 130-ish, right? It's a low floor, so it's never going to be the exact penny, but the 130 area was where it broke down in 2011. It's where we broke out in 2022 from, and then we're now retesting it here. So this holds, it's going much higher. And it makes sense. It's the best solar stock in this.
Looks good.
Gold. Why are we looking at gold?
Gold. I do
Gold.
actually kind of like the GLD. I like how
Old
Oh,
GLD.
like
I don't have a
GOLD.
position or anything. but-
Barrick Gold.
Yeah.
Oh, Barrick.
Miners. The nest, it sounds like you like pain. WW gold.
Eh.
Yeah, I
Not
stay
my
away
thing.
from anything gold related, miners or anything. We talked how many times have we talked about this, Nick?
Oh my gosh,
So
even
gold breaks
FM.
out.
Yeah. Damn.
Honestly, gold is just not worth it until it breaks out. It could literally go sideways again for another couple of years.
What
I'd
about
say the only
silver?
miner that I
IO
like is
silver.
our GLD.
I could probably fuck with some silver though.
Silver looks better than gold. Yeah.
I could probably fuck with some silver.
Well,
Should be
steer
looking.
clear of both.
Are you guys spending any time on emerging markets? Because that's where I think we get more kind of upside.
I'm looking at China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same couple names.
No, like if you're looking at Melly, right? That's emerging markets as well. Melly is looking really kind of
Really good.
yeah. But I'm trying to get my ready for next year. So I'm looking at emerging market, looking at some of the names that we talked about earlier, like Square, Disney. That hopefully in the next couple of weeks we get some tax loss harvesting and they retrace a big part of these moves. What they do, I don't know if they will. That was my thought process.
Look at Disney back above 90.
Yeah.
What a naughty little girl Disney's going to be.
I don't really care to be involved in any of these names that are like in the middle of this woke war battle. Like it just kind of seems like it's going to be an ongoing thing.
What kind of battle, Nick? I didn't hear you.
The woke, the woke.
Oh, the woke, yeah.
Stuff. Like I don't know. Like believe what you want, one way or the other. I just feel like if you're a company that's getting largely involved with it, like it's kind of one of those uncertainties that I think could drill these stocks like one way or the other.
I mean, look at Visco. We talked about that, and it's already up 8% since last Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Randy name.
But look at Bud. Bud went through the woke crisis, is emerging pretty nice.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. Bud does look kind of good.
It looks really good, Nick. What do you mean?
I'm looking at the weekly.
It looks really good in a dress with lipstick and hair extensions.
Yeah, it's range bound. It's in a range.
What isn't in a range besides Microsoft?
Yeah, true that. Trying to think of what else. Boston Scientific is looking great. I think popped back to highs and put kind of a tradable gap to trade against like that 53 low.
That looks like it wants to go higher.
Yeah.
CVNA. That's Carvana. I put Carvana in the same as my CarMax. I like it short. I don't know that I would short it exactly right here. But that was a brilliant trade I had on that CarMax. I'm going to keep patting my own back on that one, but I see Carvana about the same. Chart's a little bit better, I think, personally, than CarMax, but I don't see these companies continuing to buy cars, used cars at overpriced when new ones are getting discounted.
What's
I
the
think
Yeah.
Rivet?
Like, if you're
Rivet
not
gonna
like,
catch a pop here soon, or what? What are they? Is there? What are they
what
waiting
is
on something? I'm asking if you guys are following Rivian at all.
Yeah, I'm a holder.
it'll be waiting on Tesla. It always will be. That's
I
the
think
reality, right?
I think we found a bottom, Nick, finally.
Yeah.
If you're looking at China names, by the way,
Yeah.
why does no one talk about PDD? I don't understand.
We
It's
talked about
literally-
PDD last
You
week.
did. I freaking love it. Yeah.
No, I know we are, but this is while China names are getting smoked and destroyed, PDD don't give a damn, right? It's just breaking out, right, on its own. It's showing you
China.
strength. Like, I think this is the mentality people are looking for, the ones that are weaker so they can get better percentage movers. But when it's already showing you strength
Yeah.
in a weak market, when the rest of them start to push higher, this goes bananas, not pulls back. I guess a lot of people, you buy strength by strength, right, Nick?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So weakness stays weak until it's not, but strength will continue to find its way higher.
That continues with the trend that Nick was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Right? Trend. Strength is a trend. Weakness is a trend.
I mean, like, if you're paying more attention to the trend, then it's likely that these candles that you're trying to over read are likely bear traps, if anything, or opportunities to accumulate. You know, like maybe you do see a reversal candle and you get like a few day pull-in into some, I don't know, rising moving averages. Just kind of my thought. Yeah, that fast looks pretty good.
FLR looks really good. Floor.
Yeah. Both, yeah.
That's a good call by Give No Shits. Ferg doesn't look all that great. Floor looks good.
ENPH in the chat.
Looks like a mini and inverse 10 shoulders down here, or whatever you want to call it.
Island reversal.
Yeah.
On the
Not
daily.
really.
On the daily?
I don't know. Those are like 3 islands put together. It's like a archipelago is what it's called, right? A group of islands.
Is that? I don't think that's right.
I like that. I like fast a lot. I just put that on my radar here.
Yes. Archipelagos. Group of islands.
Mini islands. Okay, all right. Touche.
It looks good regardless of what we call it. Looks like it's gonna go
I
high.
like that. It's the abandoned archipelago. Archipelago reversal.
Yeah.
Path continues on its path.
It does. You know what also looks good? Financials.
I brought this
I was
up a
gonna say
couple weeks
Visa and
back.
MasterCard.
Remember when you two were so fucking bearish?
It doesn't take 2008 highs.
I brought financials up while you two were so bearish, man. I wanted to kick both of you in the butt.
Dude, those charts are still not great, like long term, right? But right now we're talking about short term stuff, so it's looking good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that I'm going to go YOLO on Citibank for my, the rest of my life. I'm not saying that.
No, but Goldman looks like it's about to break the hell out.
Goldman.
Yeah. Like on the daily, if you're looking at it. 5 inside candles.
Yeah.
Gap, gap, gap. Look at all those gaps.
Yep. More islands. More
Oh man, it
opportunities.
isn't. Goldman did put in an island.
Yep. That's an actual island, yes.
Tesla like didn't quite hold it. Man, if you watch how basically Netflix has performed since it put in that island, like I don't know, it's just something that I've been really trying to scan for. I like that a lot in Goldman. Thanks for pointing that out.
The Goldman, yeah. It's something.
Goldman.
But like if even if you're taking out the other names, look at we've talked about this so many times on the podcast. It's not a heavy, fast mover, but it's grinding higher and moving well. Ross Stores, ROST. This is brilliant. Look at this. That's a solid base. But it's not just Ross Stores. Look at FICO. These are non-Mag 7, which used to be FANG, is now all of a sudden Mag 7 or whatever narrative that they're spinning to make it seem more fierce. But dude, look at FICO.
Get FICO from the beginning of time. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Let's look at the monthly on that bad boy. See, this is what I love, right? I mean, when you have a chart that just goes up and to the right, like life is good.
Yeah.
Like seriously, buy it anywhere, and it just continues going up and to the right. So why are you selling 5-minute candles or daily candles? Like just hold on.
Yeah, exactly.
Just you put both feet down and just hold the fuck on.
Yeah, I think it's hard, right? Sometimes you'll have moves that will take years to build and they'll destroy in one bar, right? So people have seen that in so many other stocks that are like, this can't possibly continue, right?
I understand. We all get sheeped out of stuff. Like
Yeah.
I get it. I understand. I'm not. I'm saying it to myself just as much as I'm saying it to anyone who's willing to listen to our podcast. Just sometimes you zoom out, right, and just look at the chart, and it's like they have been doing something right since 1988.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's probably a good stock to buy. All right. I mean, of course, Apple's poster child of this.
Dude.
Even though it did have, I mean, from 81 to 2003, it's not that great of a picture. But from 2003 on, it's just like to the moon, Alice.
Yeah. Dude, Chipotle. Burritos for life.
Domino's Pizza.
Both of them are just freaking beasts.
Like, I'm not saying Domino's Pizza is going to continue forever up and to the right, but so far it's proving that it is. CMG, same thing. Absolutely right. There's been moments where it's like, oh man, sucks.
That was the E. coli scare, right? The narratives that oh my gosh, that form over time.
I mean, of course, like NVIDIA. We make it harder than what it is.
You know what's another one that looks good?
Go for it, GP.
MAR.
MAR. Marriott. Wow. Yeah, don't look bad.
Yeah, it just bullish engulf of 2 months in 1 month. So
anyway, I want to jump back to something that you were saying earlier, GP, right? Was on this and Nick, you too, we had this whole move in the queues, right? And the group that I trade with, like I was posting some of these trades on stock twits too, but right, this where's my drawing tool? There we go. This whole area was your time to buy. All this right here, right? Like, oh, that was your time to be buying. And there's no reason. Cookie posted about this on StockTwit. It's like you don't need to buy now. Like, you don't need to trade now. Like, you just need to enjoy what you put work in for.
Yeah,
6-8 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, right? I mean, even if you bought right here, you didn't miss out. Anyway, just thought that was worth bringing up, since I made the statement that we make it harder than what it is sometimes.
I agree. I think good trading is fucking boring.
It should be boring.
Right. Like, you're probably doing something very, very right if it is.
You shouldn't have to trade your ass off every day to scratch out $1.
Right.
A lot of people love Fridays. I hate Fridays. If I do Friday trading, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna die.
Yeah, I hate Fridays.
Early.
I love Fridays in the sense that, like, the weekly close is pretty important to me.
Like taking the day trades on Fridays, I just think it makes my heart beat so fast that I've never liked it, and so I just don't. And you miss out on lots of amazing moves, right? But
well, the Fridays trade is super simple, at least, and I try not to do a whole lot of trades on Friday, but in my opinion, it's super simple. If you're not done by 10:15, you're fucked. Seriously, if you're in a trade that goes past 10:15, it is just chop city 9 out of 10 times, and you are just going to lose premium like a sumbitch, because you either were scared to get in, or you bought at a bad price, and now the trade's gone against you, or you're waiting on the trade to go higher. And after 10:15, 10:30, you may as well kiss that plan goodbye.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There are some Fridays that's just a continuation up, and nothing can, fault that, or a continuation down. But most Fridays, like, you're just getting chopped up.
Yeah. And especially if you'll notice, even so, this is more true, that if you had a big, full, kind of awesome Friday the Friday before, it's not going to repeat the next Friday.
Well, we did have OPEX last Friday, and we've mentioned before, typically the week after OPEX has been a better week for the Bulls. So maybe I shouldn't have been too surprised that we had a really nice, strong day today. We'll see how we look come the end of the week, but maybe I shouldn't have been surprised.
Yeah, I like to see early weakness on Fridays, and those kind of get bought up throughout the day. So, like, if I am putting on like a day trade on a Friday, I'm usually looking to buy versus, like, let's say, like the 10-day EMA, or like a level of support on the daily or something like that, where price is coming into it. And if usually by lunch or post lunch, if we haven't started to really bounce, like, I don't know, that's just generally what I'm looking for on a Friday. But I'm with you. I generally don't do shit on Fridays. If anything, I'm typically probably a net seller on Fridays, just being that I won't hold, for the most part, I won't hold a swing position that's a loser over the weekend. Like, I don't see the reason to. But I'm kind of weird like that, I guess.
You are weird like that, Nick.
I know. I know.
Love you for it.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I like coming into the week with, like, kind of like about as fresh of a mind as possible, and like I don't like having to
think about your positions over the weekend, right?
Yeah,
Like,
unless I'm winning. Unless
yeah,
I'm
if it's a position that's in jeopardy or it's already a loser, you don't need to carry that shit. Yeah, I mean, over the weekend. I love that philosophy, Nick.
so
I,
yeah.
I think a lot of traders can learn something from that because we've all been there where we've sized too big and we're praying for a move. We're praying to God or whoever you believe in, or just putting out good. You're burning sage or something in the middle of the night, hoping that the price action gaps up tomorrow, right? And that stuff that eats at you. I that's one reason why I haven't done a lot of swing trading. I've been doing a lot of day trading just because with so much stuff going on in my life the past few weeks, I don't want that's the last thing I need to weigh on me right now is, positions open, not looking good. It's easy when you're winning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've
and the
all been
market's been ripping, right? So we can talk a bit more bullishly about stuff, but it's interesting, right? It was so much pain for months on end, and now it's just nonstop up, and you're like, why do you need to be this polar?
well, I mean, I think Nick's brought this up several times is the market's just a reflection of human psychology, right? Like when it's bad, we feel bad. It's negative. It's shitty. When it's good, we're all, you know, positive. We can do anything. We can run through brick walls. Like that's adrenaline, right? And I don't know. I just think I think it's a good reflection of how the human experiment.
Yeah. It's definitely that. But we know it's not us. We're reacting to the price. It's not us moving these markets around the way they do.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, right at what was a point on Twitter, right? I was like, how does someone execute puts at 442? Like, we don't have that option. Like, how is that even possible? Because we don't have the information. We don't have the access. So you always wonder what they're doing by having that 4 or 5 months of just debt. You'll never know the answer. It's just always good to ponder. It's one of those smoke a doobie and have a chit chat conversation.
Talked a lot about things we like. We've seen some things that we probably don't like so much, but what's something that you guys are obviously NVIDIA tomorrow, but what's something else that you guys are looking for just to close out the week? One name, one sector. I know we talked about XLK, right? And we talked about First Solar. I pulled up IGV while you guys were talking. I think software looks pretty good. We talked about China. Anything else that you guys just keeping in your back pocket?
I got a lot of alert sets just kind of across the board on various names. More for trades than necessarily longer term positions. My four favorites continue to be DraftKings, Palantir, Uber, and Dash. They're the four biggest positions I have on. Everything else is more like a swing trade type size. So
You don't have Wing,
no,
Nick? Have you seen Wing?
yeah, no, I don't have Wing or
Uh,
Chipotle. But
Guys, you got to
I
pull up this chart. This is nuts.
That looks great
Look
too.
at the daily. It's just
a monster.
what the
Up, up and away.
Yeah.
hell?
I mean, this is like kind of one of those things like your entry on this thing was at 210 if you missed the breakout earlier, like the 185, it had like a real nice kind of high and tight daily flag. It's just, to your point, a runaway market or lockout type move.
Yeah.
It's tough to, like, if you don't have, like, if you didn't get involved down there versus like 185, like, at least for me and how I trade, it would have been tough for me to put on size at 210.
Okay.
If it would have,
fair enough.
like, I probably would have put on a starter there and then kind of hoped it, tested kind of the 220, 225 and then went sideways there, but it didn't. It just ripped right through.
Fair enough.
But yeah, do you have wing on?
I don't. It's usually a very slow mover. But by the
so-
time I saw it even catch my radar, it was up and away. Not chasing that.
One name that I've been seeing a lot of growth traders watching has been LMND, Lemonade.
Lemonade.
Why?
A lot of guys refer to that kind of big that big bar through the 200-day. They call it either like a bull snort or a like an igniting bar. So if you're looking at this and you're not long versus, like, let's just say 15 and a quarter, you're just using kind of the pivot high, kind of that 18.25. But either way,
it's the spring setup, right? It just breaks the base and then reverses higher.
Yeah.
So, but I just don't understand the companies and the model that they're using. So I tend to.
Yeah, what are they? Like, they're renters, and aren't they renters insurance? Something. What are they?
Home insurance, pet insurance.
Yeah, they're insurer.
Yeah, but they're AI insurer, and I just don't like. I went through their model and their process to get a personal quote to see how the experience would be. I was like, and it came in $5 higher than my current home insurance, and I was like, yeah, no thanks. That was a big waste of time.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah. So to me, I'm looking at the emerging markets this week to see if it breaks out. If you go weekly on the emerging markets, it's on the verge of breaking the downtrend line. So this is something I'm eyeing for 2024. Yeah. So I'm looking to see if this breaks out, because I think these could be catch-up trades, right? Like we've kind of, I don't know if inflation kind of returns higher or whatever, but for now we have tamed the inflation bug, and Europe hadn't as of now, but they tend to lag us for the most part. So if they are lagging us and they're starting to get better information and data now, and their economies are doing better, then emerging markets ends up being potentially a catch-up trade.
Nice.
Definitely. I mean, we've definitely put in what looks to be a higher low. Like, just looking at the monthly.
Yeah.
If we put in that low in whatever that was, October 2022, it kind of looks like we're putting in a higher low right here.
Yeah, and it's literally been in this base, if you go on the monthly, for 13 years now. Right? Similar to
I mean, maybe that's the whole point. I mean, that's kind of a great like, looking at the EEM, like, maybe that's kind of the whole point. I mean, this is kind of conspiracy theory in me, but, like, the world's on fire, right? Everyone thinks the world is ending, but, like, the EEM breaks, let's just say 40, like, the move, once it gets above 42, like, it's on.
Good. Bags, you have it go all the way back to EM, like from the beginning. If you draw it from the lows and draw it to all the different point, that first point, and draw a line, it's basically the first one. Yeah. Oh, you're on log?
I'm always on log, my brother.
Okay. So if you draw this line from the first kind of wick down, it's essentially from like the all-time lows to the first wick up. We basically broke under it last month, and we are now reversing higher, which basically put it in a monster engulfing kind of right into the downtrend. So to me, this is potentially huge. So I'm going to spend time on this, but on this week, I'd like to see it kind of take out that downtrend line and kind of consolidate a little bit. But this to me looks where could be a lot of opportunity.
What's the world ETF?
I didn't know there was such a thing.
There is. I don't remember what it is though. Someone tweeted it recently on StockTwits. I think it was Randy, but I don't remember what it is now.
I don't know about that. I like this. Every wick has been the start of a big move higher, right? On a month-over-month basis in EM here. So just something that caught my eye because I go through all these charts, but I don't know if you guys spend any time on this, but this might be a good focus area where you kind of just set it and forget it.
On the EM?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that that's the type of trader you are, Nick, but
no, but I mean, I have my Roth and I have, other things where I do, like, it's just largely indexes. So,
yeah. Well, take a look at this chart because I really think it's got a lot of potential here for potentially a multi-year move out of this monster base.
Speaking of ETFs, is next year going to be the return of Kathy? What say you? The ARC name's definitely got a pop.
If Tesla doesn't go, she can't do crap.
Sure.
Because the amount of crap that she has in her portfolio, like to negate that, like she was still buying TDOC like a month ago, right?
Was she really?
Yeah.
Over under ARC above or below $51 to end the year.
Oh, to end the year? Shit. I don't know.
Over.
I'm saying over. I take the over.
Yeah, I take the over as well.
All right.
They had a very, very shallow pullback for the last 3 months.
So if it's over $51 through the end of the year, then 2023 was the beginning of the year of Kathy.
Yes.
But yeah, Judy's absolutely right. Tesla has to be part of that.
Yeah. She can't do it with all her other crap baskets of stocks.
All right, gents.
Randy made a late arrival.
I'm not acknowledging Randy.
Oh man. Okay.
not acknowledging him. Hi, Randy.
Oh.
Sorry about family stuff. It happens to the best of us.
Playing from Gautam.
Okay.
Garmin. Interesting. Randy, if you get a chance, I was asking, I was like, I was looking, I'm going to spend some time doing it over the next few weeks, but I was looking at potentially medium cap space being the two places I was looking at are emerging markets that we just talked about in medium cap space, the 2 to 10 billion kind of range. Because I know everyone wants small caps to lead, but I don't know how, like, isn't it like 50% of small caps are unprofitable?
Yes.
So I don't know how they lead, but okay, maybe they lead. Maybe I'm just using too much logic here, and I should stick to charts. But so to me, I think if rates are not going to go down, I think they're going to probably stay steady to a little bit around here. So if that's the case, then I think small caps still struggle and medium caps do slightly do better. But that's what I was thinking about. So if you have any thoughts, Randy, hit me up.
All right, gang.
Or anyone on the chat, anyone on the pod, not just Randy, but I know Randy's got this plethora of stocks that we've never heard of. So
A plethora or a plethora. Either way, Randy has a lot of them.
yeah.
Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure. Mid cap sounds good, Randy. Randy agrees. It's always a pleasure to catch up with you. I wish everyone a happy time with their family during the Thanksgiving break. Eat some turkey or whatever your protein choice is, GP. So I appreciate you guys. I'm thankful for you and each and every one of you who subscribe and listen. And we will be back next Monday to kick it all over again and to see where we're at in this crazy, crazy stock market world.
Thanks for always hosting, Bags. Really appreciate it. Have a happy Thanksgiving with all of your family.
Yeah, we've got both sets of grandparents with us. It's pretty awesome. So the kids are loving it.
Must be great to be home and be surrounded by family. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty great. But we can dive more into that. What a great time we had. How much weight we gained next Monday.
Yes. Nick, have a happy Thanksgiving as well. Thank you for everything you do.
Yeah, man. Love you guys.